What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Tay, and today we are going to start a new series. Yes, this series is going to be having a meal with somebody who was on death row. A lot of death row inmates, there was a time when they got to actually request one last meal, and a lot of these people requested some crazy things. I have a list right here, guys, of so many people who had crazy last meals and obviously some normal, regular last meals as well. So we're gonna start a new series and we're gonna put about 2 or 3 past either serial killers or somebody on death row who got to have a last meal. And we're just gonna talk about the crime that they may have committed and some of the things that led them on death row. We're pretty much gonna talk about their biography, and I'm gonna enjoy their last meal as well, which is kind of crazy because just to think, like, this is somebody's last meal, literally. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. A lot of these guys are serial killers, and that's why they did get put on death row. A lot of these people are just genuinely crazy, and we're gonna find out a lot about these people. This is a prison channel, so we're gonna start doing some prison things and enjoying these last meals with these former convicts. And there's a lot of cool stories as well, as we'll get to as we progress in these videos. But this is the first episode, and I could have ate dirt this episode, but we might save that for like episode 3. Yeah, so be prepared for that. I'm actually gonna eat each and every single one of these meals that they had, unless it's shrimp, because I'm allergic and some people had shrimp, but I'll do a substitute. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and dive in to the first meals that we are going to eat with these convicts. So you see me sitting here with a cup of lovely coffee, and we have some instant oatmeal, and right here in this cup is going to be some milk, a cup of milk. So the cup of coffee was the last meal of a serial killer named Eileen Wuornos. Eileen Wuornos, I believe they made a movie about her. When I saw her face, I was like, she looks like the girl who was in Monster. That's how well the lady, Charlize Theron, played the lady in Monster, who I believe is Eileen Wuornos. Her last meal that she wanted was a cup of coffee. Eileen Caroline Wuornos was an American serial killer, and in 1989 through 1990, while engaging in street prostitution along the highways in Florida, she shot dead and robbed 7 of her male clients. Wuornos claimed that her clients had either raped or attempted to rape her, and that all homicides were committed in self-defense. Wuornos was sentenced to death of 6 of the murders, and on October 9th, 2002, after 12 years on Florida's death row, she was executed by lethal injection.
I am prepared to die if you say it is necessary.
Wuornos proclaimed to the bitter end that the 7 homicides was accused of committed were acts of self-defense. However, the American legal system disagreed, and she was executed.
During Eileen Wuornos' brief 1-minute final statement, she alluded to the fact that she would be sailing away with the Rock. She'll be back with Jesus Christ, like on Independence Day, on June 6th, just like the movie, on the big mother ship. I'll be back, I'll be back.
She actually declined a final last meal, but instead she wanted a single cup of coffee. Single cup of coffee for her final meal. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit here and enjoy, this is my breakfast, a single cup of coffee. Not in her name, but more or less just to get in the mind frame of, like, I mean, coffee is good, don't get me wrong, coffee is definitely bussin', but to be your last meal before you got executed, man, it's kind of, I don't want to use the word, I guess it's sad in general that you're about to be executed. And in this series, we're going to meet a lot of different people. We're going to see all types of people in these videos that's upcoming. And I just don't understand, I guess I just never understood, like, murder in itself anyway. Like, just going out, killing somebody for no reason at all other than the greed, in essence. Like, you're killing people to take their money. Like, I understand she was a prostitute. Maybe, you know, one of the dudes tried to assault her. I mean, we don't know. I really don't know. But she got convicted of killing all these people, and it's like, why? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. It's hard, man, because we never know what truly goes on in these people's minds. Like, she claimed innocence all the way till they took her life. Like, who knows? Who really knows? Like, I think she might have been guilty, and I definitely don't think every single one of the murders, 7 murders that she committed, was self-defense. Like, I personally don't believe that, but who am I to judge at the end of the day? She was sentenced by a judge of her peers, and she had a final cup of coffee. I guess one thing I can say is, like, majority of us, we're gonna leave this earth, and we don't even get the opportunity to say, hey, this is my last meal. Like, a lot of us, we won't even know what our last meal will be. So I guess that's the only light at the end of the tunnel for these people. They chose their last meal. They had one final decision in this life. They took so many other people's lives and did so much wrong to other people that now their life came down to one final decision, and that being for Eileen, 1 cup of coffee. Wow. The next person that we are going to talk about probably hits a little bit closer to home than anybody else that we'll probably review in the series, just because, like, I know this guy. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I know of him. I know his story. I know a little bit about his background, and we're not going to get into why I know all of these things. But the next man that we're going to talk about is Tookie Williams. Tookie Williams was definitely a well-known figure in the Black community. He started one of the gangs. He was a fellow member who started the gangs. He committed a lot of crimes, supposedly had a lot of people murdered, maybe have committed some murders himself, ended up getting caught, ended up going to jail. And the best thing about Tookie's story, well, I will admit, although that he did a lot of wrong, sometimes I always say that jail brings us to a place where we realize the wrong that we've done. And Tookie is one of those people where once he got in prison and did a little bit of time, he realized the mistakes that he probably made, and he could have led his life in a different direction, and also his people in a different direction.
Looking back at your life back before San Quentin, do you often reflect on what you would have done differently?
Let's just say that, for one, I'd like to believe that if I would have had a living father, a father at home, spiritual, hardworking, and one who wasn't abusive to my mother, I believe that that would have helped greatly. I believe if there were some viable programs around, youth viable programs around, that perhaps that would have helped. I know for a fact that had the educational system been up to par, I would have gotten an education because I could do the work.
A lot of the wars was just nonsense, just to put it mildly. You know, gang wars, Crips versus Blood. Yeah, and he really wanted to empower Black people when it was all really said and done, just humankind in general. But, you know, once you change your life in prison, that does not mean that you're just immediately absolved for all of the crimes that you did commit. So he was still on death row, unfortunately, by the time this change came, and he was still a changed man. And I believe that he died a changed man.
I've turned my life around. You can too.
Tookie, he moved to Los Angeles at a very young age and immediately became immersed in the street life. He and a friend created the Crips gang and would eventually be arrested and convicted of murder and being associated with criminal gang activity. And we know how the streets can really do you. When he moved to Los Angeles at a young age, LA and the street life is tough, man, especially back in the days, man. You know, there's a lot of speculation of, you know, the police really starting a lot of the wars between the gang members. You know, they would come in and cause havoc and then blame the other gangs for doing it. So the gangs would go at war with each other, and it just got out of control. So, you know, Black people are killing more Black people on a regular basis, and it was all gang related. Everybody was representing a certain color, which of course came down to like the hoods at first, what hood you represented, and that just grew and grew and grew. And now we're in a place where madness, to be honest, when it just comes to all of the crime. He was executed in 2005, and on the day of his execution, he actually refused a special last meal, and he just ate what the guys were eating. The normal guys at the penitentiary was eating. They got served oatmeal that morning, so he decided to have some oatmeal as well. He ate oatmeal and also had him a cup of milk. So I will sip this milk in his honor. And disclaimer, that's actually almond milk, which that was my first time actually taking a full sip of it. And it's pretty good. So not that bad, not that bad. And then obviously he had him some oatmeal as well. We chose to go with the apple cinnamon oatmeal. I'm not sure if he had apple cinnamon. It doesn't specify, it just says oatmeal. But that's what we're gonna have as well. You're gonna enjoy a meal with another criminal. But like I said, I know there's a lot of people who are criminals. I get that. And there's a lot of people who deserve to die, get put to death. Tuki was trying to put positive energy out there for everybody before he passed away. Like I said, I know you can't always make up for the crimes that you did commit in your past, but you can try to change your life around and try to change the influence that you had on a lot of people. And Tuki had a lot of influence. Again, he was one of the co-leaders of one of the most predominant gangs in the world. So with that being said, there's influence behind that. And he had influence at the end, right before his death, to change a lot of people's perspectives about the crime that they were in. Like, he really did change people's minds about, okay, maybe this Crip stuff isn't for me, or maybe gangs isn't for me. Not even only Crips' minds, he's changed minds of other gang members. Like, as a black man, like, he came to the realization of, like I said earlier in the video, the stuff that we were doing in our past and the way that we were going about things, maybe it's a little bit too much. You know, maybe isn't it all about killing each other and taking something from somebody else? Maybe we need to uplift each other, build each other up, and build an actual community. So that's what it should really be about. So as I take a bite of my oatmeal, really good. Really good. I like oatmeal. And I respect him just for the fact that he had a meal with the rest of the guys. Like, you're about to die. They give you a special meal request and you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm not gonna lie. If I know I'm about to die, one of the best pleasures in this world for me is actual food. Life experiences, food, obviously being around the loved ones. But if we know it's about to go, if somebody's like, yo, you get one more meal for the rest of your life, I wouldn't have chose oatmeal and milk. For me personally, I would have never chose oatmeal and milk, or just a regular cup of coffee. Who knows? I'll probably need some pig feet, hog maws, some deer jerky, some eggs, some bacon, some steak. I would need it all. Fried chicken, banana pudding. I need a whole plethora of items. Just like somebody else will get to a little bit later on in the series. But yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much on the very first video of eating meals with former convicts on death row. Yeah. What I will do today, though, is I'm going to make sure that you guys bless somebody, because if I don't tell you to bless somebody, then I'm not going to be able to bless somebody tomorrow. So make sure that you bless somebody today, and I'm going to bless somebody tomorrow. See you next time in the next video. But at this point in time, your boy Tay, I'm out.